consultant, to be worth his salt, must give honest judgment, not necessarily those which he thinks the client would like to hear. It's a quote by Andrew Thomas. Hello, everyone. My name's Kritika Saran from Junction, and today we have a special guest with us as our mentor, Ankita Vashista. So, Ankita, could you kindly give a brief about yourself to the audience? And yeah, let's go ahead with the podcast.
Definitely, Kritika. So, hi everyone, and first of all, thank you so much for having me over. Uh, so, to give a little bit about myself, I'm currently working as a senior associate with the Boston Consulting Group, or popularly known as BCG. And this was post my MBA from IIM Bangalore. Prior to that, I was a consultant with Fractal Analytics. And well, when I'm not working, I enjoy painting and I'm also fond of dancing. And traveling is also something that I like. And I mean, I don't have an option as a consultant, I'm supposed to like it. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So, I think swimming was also one of your likings, is it?
Yes, yes, definitely it is. But due to COVID, you know how swimming pools are shut down, right? So,
Yeah,
can't really go around. So,
yeah. I can
unfortunately, have to look from far.
yeah, I can understand that. Even I wanted to try swimming in 2019, but this COVID thing hit so hard, nothing worked. So we are
Yeah,
really excited to have you here, Ankita. Like it's pleasure meeting with you.
likewise. Same here, Kritika.
Thank you. So let's begin with our podcast. So, Ankita, my first question would be when we look at your professional journey, I could see that you have always been into consulting since the beginning of your career. Like at Fractal Analysis as well, you worked as a consultant, and in BCG, now you're a senior associate. So, what made you decide go with this particular career? Like, how did you know that this is the career, which is really suitable for you, and you want to pursue it throughout?
So, I think consulting in itself, the job requires a lot of problem solving. So, one is definitely getting into that aspect where you are, with these huge clients solving their everyday problems, be it operational, financial, or anything. Apart from that problem solving, so because there's this solving element involved, your day to day work doesn't become monotonous. Every day you have a new challenge to face. Every time, like every 6 to 9 months, you have a new client to interact with. So that is something which I really like about this field. Apart from that, the diversity aspect of it. So when I say diversity, like I mentioned, there are people, number of people that you work with, and then there's diverse industries that you work with. So in my 4 5 years of the professional journey till now, I've worked with clients from ranging from USA, Middle East, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, you name it, and I'm sure I would have worked with one or the other person from that region. So to interact with them, and then of course, when I say people, of course, I've also worked with the industries across all these regions. And every 6 to 9 months, when a new case comes up, when a new project comes up, you meet with new people. You meet, with you get to know about a new industry. Then, not just that, you have a new problem to solve. You have your new decisions to make. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So that is something which sort of keeps you going and keeps it very interesting. The whole work scenario when it comes to consulting.
So it means that one has to be very quick with decision making, or like decision making, you do a lot of analysis and then go a long way about it and then take the decisions. Is it like, or does it include both quick decisions and as well as with long analysis and all those things?
I would say it includes both. So one good thing is that because you're working with the client so closely, I mean, you're there in their office working with them day in day out.
Yeah.
So you understand. So sometimes you have to take quick decisions. Like if you're sitting in a meeting and then they would look into you, okay, you are the one who's analyzed these numbers. What do you think I should say here? So that is when you need to be quick on your toes. Apart from that, definitely, since when I say that every industry or every client has a problem, it's a long term thing which goes on. So from breaking down that problem for them, solving it, and then even implementing it for them, it's a long process. So
Yeah.
that definitely, I mean, though that is the baseline which keeps on going, there are definitely these quick immediate decisions and analysis which goes on day to day.
So how does those decisions go for you? What if some decision works really well, and what if some decision does not work well? So how does it go for you? Like, how do you think of that, and how do you take that thing for yourself?
So well, see, if something works really well, I think it's a no-brainer. Everyone's happy. You are happy. You are being appreciated in every other meeting. So I don't think that's something. I mean, that's something everyone wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are times when we go wrong or we don't have some information or some data or something. That is when, I mean, I won't say it's very easy to make those decisions or easy to analyze such scenarios. But again, like I mentioned before, since we work with clients day in, day out, we sort of become a part of their company. And that's when, and the clients also trust us equally. So we can always walk up to them and be like that, you know what, we are facing issues here. Or you know what, I think what we told you before is wrong because of these two, three reasons. So till the time we are upfront about it and we confide, I mean, even the client trusts us to an extent that okay, if first of all they've given us an input, it has to be backed or it would be backed with a lot of research, analysis, data, and everything. But in case you are wrong, okay, no problem. What is the right step? So I think not just with cases, overall in life itself, this is one thing that if you go wrong, if you make mistake, own up to it and try to correct it, because there's no escaping. So be
Exactly.
it consulting cases or be it in any other scenario, if you've made a mistake, own up to it and then go on correcting it.
Yes. Actually, that's a great piece of advice. I really like that. I would implement it in my life as well. That's a great piece of advice. I really like it. So, Ankita, while you were preparing for this journey, how did you prepare for the interviews, and what was your personalized approach for the interviews that you give to the company?
Yeah. So one thing is that like if I'll just divide this into two parts. One is preparing for Fractal, another would be preparing for BCG.
Mm.
So in both the cases, the interviews were the same. It was that basic. You're given a problem statement and you have to basically break it down and sort of give your you know how it's basically like a step by step approach to that problem that you have to give to the interview.
Yeah.
Sorry, interviewer. Yeah. So in both of these things, there were cases that were given. We had to solve those cases, and it doesn't take long. It's a 15 to 20 minute case or a 15 to 20 minute module. And what they basically see is that how do you approach the case? Are you splitting the problem in a proper fashion? If you're splitting it, if it is meaty or not. So meaty is another consulting term, which means I'll just simplify it that if there are five things, those five things cover every aspect of that particular problem that you're talking about, and they don't overlap among with each other. So there are certain things to follow, and these days what I have seen is that okay, if I tell you about Fractal, I was honestly not very exposed to problem solving as such in my undergrad. So it was more about, keeping myself in a customer's shoe and then seeing that, okay, if this company is trying to do this, what is it that I as a customer would like them to do for me? This is a very specific example based on the case, but that is how it was more of a keeping myself in that role and seeing that, okay, what are the 10 things I want to assess if I want to solve this particular problem?
Yeah.
But now there are a lot of resources available. So when it came to preparing for BCG, I was fortunate enough to be exposed to those resources. Now today, if you check on LinkedIn, a lot of business schools they upload their problem-solving case books
Mm.
on their consulting club pages. So
Yeah.
people can, and they're free to access. You can always download them, practice cases in it, and then there are these diverse number of cases. You have revenue related, profit related, marketing, market growth, then mergers and acquisitions. So there are multiple buckets under which these cases fall. So there are a lot of resources available which are free to access, and I think anyone preparing for it should definitely access those without shying away. And another thing is that what helped me preparing for BCG was that in my college we had this setup where you form a case solving group of three people. So you pick up a you pick up a problem from that case booklet that we used to have, and then two of them they used to act as interviewer and interviewee. The third one used to be the observer. So like proper interview, we used to conduct that for 15-20 minutes because that is the amount of time one interview takes. We used to conduct that, and then the third person used to tell us that okay, you know what, you went wrong in these three, four things. So there was this feedback mechanism between the three of us, which used to help us correct it wherever possible. Now coming to the personal part of it, one thing I was very sure of that I never aimed that I have to complete n number of cases in a day. I have to solve, let's say, 10 cases in a day. I was not going after that number. What I tried was that I have to complete at least 2 to 3 cases or problems under each bucket that I had mentioned before. So it's better to cover the entire ground rather than drilling just into one this thing and aim for that. Okay, is it okay if I speak in Hindi in between? Yeah. So sometimes people just be like, oh, मैंने आज 15 cases solve कर दिए. Agar if all the 15 are just one particular profit wale cases, you wouldn't want that, right? You would want to do, let's say, only 3 cases, but 3 different categories or 3 different buckets. So that was one thing. And of course, having a notebook is always helpful. So you do a case, you write your approach in it, whatever mistakes you've made, correct them. And then once as you're getting closer to the interview, keep referring to your notes. Instead of solving new cases, keep referring to your notes. So that is something which I think everyone should do. It comes very handy.
So one thing like I understood from your answer is like this analogy I'd like to give. It's like some Rubik cube. You know, when you look at
Hmm.
whole, you're not gonna solve. You're just gonna you're just gonna solve the pieces. ऐसे ही आप घुमाते रहोगे, right? So you're not
Hmm.
gonna reach a conclusion. However, when you take the approach, you make the daisy, and then you put it in a certain manner. You match the colors, and then and you follow certain steps. You finally reach the full Rubik cube. You can solve it. So it's something like that, right? You know, take smaller parts and then climbing onto the bigger one.
Exactly, exactly. I think that is bang on. So you have to, when you're given a problem statement, it gets very overwhelming because you start to, the first time you hear a problem, the immediate question comes is, oh, okay, I don't have any information regarding this. How am I supposed to solve it? And it's just a one statement. It's just one statement. They'll say that, okay, your company is XYZ, they are going through ABC problem. What would you do? That's it. That is when this thing comes, what like you say, that if you break down the Rubik's cube to a smaller this thing, that's
Exactly.
when you step in, that okay, if it's a profit thing, let's say, I don't know why profit is coming to my mind so much today, but let's say, so profit ka formula kya hota hai? It's basic, right? It's revenue minus cost.
Hmm.
Then you start drilling down on those buckets. You keep asking those people questions that okay, I need this data, that data, and they always help you with whatever additional information you require. And that is how, again, breaking down the problem into smaller modules and then solving each of them is what eventually helps you breaking down the case completely, like solving it completely.
Exactly. Also touching all the aspects of the problem, not just sticking on to what you're seeing, but actually going beyond it. That's what I understood from your answer. So, uh, right? Is it like am I putting it into right words? Your answer.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, if I give you an example of this, I had 2 case rounds when I was interviewing for BCG. So the second one, the case was so that it looked very simple, and you would ask very simple questions first. But as in when you drill down, I don't know if I can talk about the case or not, but just to give you that small point, what was different was that there was this machine breakdown in it was some efficiency related case, and eventually after asking them a lot of questions, after basically splitting that, how a supply chain or something works, everything, I mean, whatever was related to the case, eventually the solution was that because there was no maintenance of the machine happening in a factory, there was a machine breakdown. I mean, going to that level is, like you said, that it's not just what is seen on the front. You have to sort of challenge yourself to see all the aspects of it. And this is, again, I'll tie this to the first thing that I said, that if you be there physically, I mean, in your imagination, just imagine you're there in the field or in the factory or in the whatever office or whatever the case is related to. You start imagining, okay, if I'm standing in a factory, what all am I seeing? What all can go wrong there? And that sort of imagination really helps, ask the right questions and sort of see those aspects which might not strike you just randomly thinking about the problem.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think I'm also good at problem solving now. I understood what you meant. So, Ankita, my next question is that
Mm-hmm.
what were those crucial decisions that you took to reach this position in your career? Like, were there things that you had to leave behind or maybe adopt new things? So, what were those things?
So, crucial decisions, I would say that I think the first decision which sort of I had to take was during my undergrad, because I've done my engineering in electronics and communication. So there were a lot of companies with much better packages and much better job locations. I mean, there were some companies sending you to Europe or US right away. But the thing was, those companies were all core companies. So deciding and giving up on those to choose a field which you feel is more creative or more diverse was one this thing, because see, at that moment it's very difficult to decide something like that, because people often see, okay, यहाँ पे patents are there, let me go there. But then somewhere or the other you have to sort of even see that, okay, I might be working in this particular firm for the next 3 4 5 years or maybe forever, you never know.
Yeah.
So you have to take that decision. So I think that was one crucial decision when I gave up on the core companies and went behind these consulting firms. The other one, fortunately, in my MBA, I think my path was pretty clear, because I already had a consulting background, and it helped me see that, okay, this is something that I would like to get into future. So after postgrad, it was pretty easy. But yeah,
Yeah.
undergrad was steps switching from core and attractive offers to something like this was something which sort of
I
was pretty
I
right.
have a small question associated to it. What did your
Mm-hmm.
rishtedar said? leaving all the, leaving all those companies and opting for something else and going with what your heart said. So what did other people say, and how did you? So because it's really crucial to understand that you take decisions for yourself and not for anyone else, not for anyone else's benefit. It's for your own. So so
Mm-hmm.
what was the scenario? Like, I really want to know.
So, रिश्तेदारों में, so one good thing is that my parents have always supported me in every decision that I've taken. So I think once your parents are on your side, then nobody can say anything. So, and fortunately, I think I give a lot of credit even today. I mean, there are some hobbies that I want to pursue as a full-time job, maybe in future, not today, maybe 10, 15 years down the line. And my parents are equally, supportive in it, that, okay, we'll help you do this. If you want to set up a business, we'll help you fund it. And so, be it whatever decision, my father especially has always stood by my side, and has given me that confidence that, okay, if you're making this decision, it must be a right decision. So I think once you have your parents, your mother and father convinced, then the third person cannot say anything. Uske baad, then come your grandparents, and I think again my grandparents have always been proud of me. So rishtedar, matlab, it wasn't that big of a challenge
That's
to for them. And eventually, as they saw me grow, uske baad, they were like, "Yeah, chalo, she's done well in life."
Yeah. Because sometimes what happens is we get into that boat, of our relatives, and we just sail into that boat, and then like वो कह रहे हैं तो maybe it's good, but then we don't listen to ourselves, and then we don't pursue what we want, and we kind of get hold of something that we can't stick to forever. So yeah.
Okay. If so, in my case, what happened was that my relatives, they're either in teaching industry, like they are professors, or they are businessmen. Because my father is an army officer, and he himself has an engineering background. So that was the reason he could relate to me. So he was the one, and his decisions even matter because, like I mentioned, he was the one who could relate to my field and everything. So my relatives never really judged my decisions or really never had a say because, the industries differ. So if today my cousins are doing business, they know whom to go to because there are businessmen in my family as well. If
Yeah.
someone wants to do PhD and go into teaching as a profession, they know who to approach to because there are people from that end as well. So I was just fortunate enough that my father was from same industry, so he could help me and my brother move forward with the thing.
Lucky you. I must say that. um, so like now coming, like this is one of my favorite questions. I usually
Mhm.
ask it. So the struggles and hardship that you faced, if you faced in your career, and what was that thing that you found most difficult? Because we think that that success is sweet, however we neglect the journey that that is taken us to that success. So any struggles, hardships?
I think again, if I start from my undergrad placement wala time when all
Mhm.
of this was happening, like I said, like I told you before that I left the core jobs switching to consulting firms, and there were a lot of consulting firms visiting our campus that time.
Yeah.
And I will not lie, it did not come to me. Consulting did not come to me in the first shot. There
Mhm.
were companies which rejected me, and then after facing a rejection, when you go through the interview throughout the day, since morning from starting 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. you are in the college waiting for the results, and when it doesn't happen, it's very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So you have to still get up, dust yourself, and be like, कि नहीं हो जाएगा, अच्छा होगा. I don't want to give up. So that was one challenge. And the other thing is, if I talk about, and same thing goes with the post MBA as well. uh, the whole process of getting shortlisted. I mean, that in itself is very overwhelming. What if I don't get into any? I mean, what if I don't even make into any shortlist for a consulting firm? I might have to switch my career completely. So that was something which is very overwhelming. The preparation in itself is overwhelming. Though case solving is something now I feel now that I'm on the other side, I feel that it's easy, but honestly, when I was preparing for it, I did not find it easy. There were some cases which had very twisted answers, and by hook or by crook, there was no way to reach there. And that's when you think, okay, यहाँ पे तो बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, बहुत पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी, and things like that. So the preparation and all is definitely difficult. I will not lie.
Mm.
Uh, and but again, once you make it, it's all you remember the good stuff. Then coming to the work, I think consulting in itself as a profession demands your presence a lot, demands your involvement into a case a lot. So because of that, you have to manage. I mean, see, a person can be completely dedicated to work, but that is not healthy eventually.
Yeah.
So that's striking that right balance between work and personal life, sort of drawing that boundaries that I will not work uh, at this particular hour, or I will start my day only after 9 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
That is something which is a little tricky, especially at my stage. So as and when you move up the ladder, I think it's still, I mean, I'm not sure. People who might watch this and are already higher up the ladder, they might disagree. But in my personal opinion, I feel it gets a little easier. But at my stage, when you have to answer 10 different people, it gets a little tricky to manage your work as well as personal life. But I've just been lucky in this sense that in a firm like BCG, they understand all this, and you can very openly communicate to your project leaders that
Mm.
I have so and so commitment, and I need to have my day like this, and they understand it, and then they modify. There are definitely tough days. I will not deny that, But okay, if once a week or once in 2 weeks you have a hard day, it's okay, it's manageable. But for every day, this thing, it's important to talk. And I'm again fortunate there that my firm understands it and allows us to openly talk about it and be frank about it.
Corporate culture like plays a vital role in deciding, the employees' output as well. So if
Definitely.
you feel stuck at your work, I don't think so you'll be able to be productive. It would hamper your
Absolutely.
creativity and your productivity at the same time.
Exactly, exactly. And like I was mentioning that if I give you an example from Fractal time, one of my clients used to have this quarterly review.
Okay.
So every once in every 3 months, that Monday to Wednesday or Thursday afternoon used to be hell. I used to, and I'm not kidding. Those you that one week, though it used to come once in 3 months, that one week used to be the toughest week with that client. But he was so understanding that after Thursday, so Thursday afternoon, we used to have the final review sort of a call. Post that, he used to say that, Ankita, you worked enough for the week. Take Thursday half day and Friday completely off.
Acha.
So I had that luxury. And even today in BCG, if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling overwhelmed, people in your team, they come up and they help you with anything you are stuck with. I remember there was something which I was not able to understand in one of my recent cases. So the consultant on my team, he sat with me. So we came back to the our hotel. We sat in the lobby till 4 a.m. to fix that thing, to figure it out. But not once did he say that, you know what, it is your module. It is not part of my job. You do it. Never. He didn't even like he was there as if it was his problem to solve. So when you have such helping people around, when you have understanding people around, it's always, I mean, the tough times go away like a breeze.
Exactly. I can relate to that, and I can understand to have a helping hand, or maybe to someone you can confide into, and you can maybe rely upon, not with so so much work, but with smaller tasks. Like even smaller things matter. So yeah, I get it. It can be overwhelming quite a few times, but having a person by your side who can understand you, who can put your himself or herself in your shoes, is really a blessing. So yeah, that's a great thing. That's a
Definitely.
good thing that you have that. So
Yeah, and I think everyone needs
yeah,
someone like that. And again, it's not just about one or two people. Everyone in BCG is very helpful, and they understand that you're, new to the firm, and it gets overwhelming at times. And
yeah,
because everyone's gone through it once in their own career journeys, they relate to you, and that is the reason why everyone just jumps into help.
that's great. That's so nice. That's so nice of them. So Ankita, what are your future plans? Like, what after? So, will you pursue this consulting? Will you, as you said, maybe your own business? So, what is your future plan? And maybe how do you see yourself 10 years down the lane? It's kind of an interview question. It's not an interview. But what are your future plans
I
after?
was about to say that the 5 year, 10-year plan is okay for interview, but then
Any feel free
so
to answer in any way that you want. Even if you don't want to answer, it's okay.
no, no, I will definitely answer this. See, to be honest, nobody has planned 5 years, 10 years. Yeah, matlab,
Yeah,
what he can, but everyone has a goal or an ambition. Even I do.
yeah.
So, see, consulting is definitely, as of now, I've not thought of stepping out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm going to step out any soon. I hope my this thing continues and I don't get any reason for to step out. So as such, career switching is something that I've not planned yet, and I don't see it in any near future at least.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to a long term vision or ambition that I might have is that, like I mentioned, I like painting and I like a lot of creative stuff. So I see these things on social media, especially Instagram, where people are selling, these very pretty things, and be it handbags or rugs or whatnot. So maybe delve into something creative, something that keeps me going. Then I'm also very intrigued by the process of wine making.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that entire process. So I visited a vineyard in like a year or 2 years back, and that entire process from crushing to bottling was something which really interested me a lot, and I started reading about it.
Mm.
So I have this thing that maybe if possible, I'll get into the beverages industry and maybe know more about it, learn more about it. So in my free time, I sometimes do certifications related to wine. Like there are these certifications available where you can understand the Indian terrain and wine growing in Indian terrain. You
Yeah.
can understand about different grape varieties and what sort of wines are made out of it. So I keep reading about it, and again, that's completely out of interest. So if possible, I would definitely want to maybe pursue something in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. I have never visited a vineyard actually. I've never seen one.
You
Just
should. Where are you located?
I'm in Amritsar, Punjab.
Oh, amazing, nice place. A lot of my relatives are in Amritsar as well.
Oh, acha, acha. That's nice.
Mm.
So, Ankita, just last question. What is a piece of advice that you would give to those people who want to start their career in consulting?
Piece of advice would be, first of all, step into the industry as a clean slate. Uh, you might know a lot about some industries, maybe you know a lot about some products. Definitely bring in your experience,
Yeah.
but trust me, every different case, every different client has different thing to offer. There's this huge exponential step into the industry as a clean slate. Be ready to accept what all information, accept, dive, and absorb what all information you get.
Yeah.
um, I think that is one thing which is very important. I don't have any, matlab, I honestly don't have that five fundas of consulting or something like that. But just from my own personal experience, I think that is very important, that you should be someone who can easily forget things and absorb new things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason being, because to give my example, there were certain methods that I learned in practice. Coming to BCG, I had to unlearn those and learn new methods or new information about the same industry and same category or whatever it is. So you need to be quick with that. You need to be very open and very absorbent of whatever information is coming, because information overload definitely happens. And a lot of time, a lot of clashes also happen based on what you already know and what you're getting to know right now. So come as a clean slate, be open to new ideas, be open to new information, be open to meeting new people and listen to their ideas. And definitely keep this in mind, that you're not always right. I've heard this quote that, if in a room, if you are the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So that happens in consulting. You're never the smartest on the table, and that is what makes it exciting as well. Sometimes you just think, oh, मैंने तो ऐसे सोचा ही नहीं. This is
Mm.
such a good approach. I wish I would have thought of that. But ठीक है, if you didn't think of it now, maybe a year down the line or 6 months down the line, because of this learning, you would apply the same idea to your next case, and you'll be the one pitching in a new information or an idea. So come with an open mind, clean slate, highly absorbent of information, and again, don't think you are always right or the smartest in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, Ankita, it intrigued me. The unlearning process. So,
Mhm.
unlearning is very difficult, and learning is easier than unlearning. I would say that. So what's
Mhm.
your take on that? And like you mentioned, you have to be a clean slate and keep the already existing ideas at bay. So maybe quite few things that could help someone to unlearn those things.
I think one thing that helps is that always, check, cross check your facts. When I say cross check, that does not mean Google and see if you're right or wrong. If you know an information and if there must be a good source to it. But you can always ask your teammate or your client that, this is what I knew about this particular thing. Is it wrong? Is it right? Is there something more to it? And you would always get to know that, oh, okay, I had incomplete information, or what I knew is not related to what I'm currently doing at all. So when I say unlearning, it's not कि बस दिमाग से निकाल के फेंक दो.
Yeah.
It's more like that. Try to adjust or twist your thoughts in a. Don't be stern कि नहीं मुझे मालूम है ये 5 चीजें अगर इस इंडस्ट्री में होती हैं तो छठी चीज हो ही नहीं सकती.
Yeah.
Don't be like that. Those 5 things might not apply to your current client at all. तो उसको वो ठीक है, push it back of push it at the back of your mind and try to absorb that 6 to 10 new things that you might learn now. So that is what I meant by
being less rigid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, like I said, don't think you are the smartest or the person in the room. And I'm not saying all of this. This might, I just hope it's not coming out in a negative way because I don't intend that. All I'm trying to say is that there's always someone there in the room who knows better than you, and you should be thankful about it. That okay, I'm getting to learn a new thing today.
Yeah, yeah. I can understand your thought on that, and that's it. We are mostly done with our interview. We have no questions for you right now, but it was great interacting with you, and I had a great time talking to you.
Same here, Kritika. It was pleasure meeting you and interacting with you.
Likewise.
Let me know if I can help in any other way, or let's stay in touch. I would love to help out Grow Junction in whatever way I can.
So, absolutely. Thank you so much for extending your warm regards and your help. Thanks a lot.